Let's start from the legislature. Parliament has directed the General Legal Council to withdraw the Legal Profession Amendment Bill 2018, seeking to amend the existing act passing 1960. Now, speaking on PM Express on Monday, the ranking member of Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Inus Afuseni, explained that the amendment does not only fail to meet constitutional requirements, but also completely ignores the needs of society.
So, when the court ruled that their activity was unconstitutional as it was not supported, they came to court for us to ex post facto rationalize the position. Then we said no. They should go and bring a comprehensive legislation to deal with the problems that we are facing. They said, well, if we didn't amend the LI for them to admit that year, then they will not be able to admit, and that will compound the problems that they were having. So we decided to give them the opportunity by removing the interview and allowing them to examine and recruit admit into the law school. Now, they then went, because we had said they should bring a legislative amendment to the act to make it possible for them to reform the law school. They then went and brought an amendment that sought to limit admissions to the law school based on quota, a quota system. And the simple question is, how are you going to distribute the quota? What fairness? So we said no. So that was the reason why we did not work on the bill. We just thought that the bill would not address the problem.
So by the bill is still before you, huh?
Fortunately, when they came to us last week, Thursday, there was unanimity of thought on that matter.
To what effect?
The General Legal Council, the Independent Examination Board, all of us agreed that that bill will not serve any useful purpose.
So what happened to it?
So we advised that they should come and withdraw it.
Did they agree to withdraw?
No, they agreed to withdraw it, but they should expedite action on that bill that they spoke about.
Now, transport companies plying the Ghana-Nigeria route are having to reschedule their trips as a result of the closure of Nigeria's border at Benin. Now, commuters are also less willing to ply the route for fear they will be stranded at the border. The closure, the transport companies lament, is simply bad for business. Henry Kwesibedu visited some bus terminals here in Accra and reports that commuters are equally frustrated at this development.
It's 10 a.m. at one of the busiest bus terminals here in Accra, where goods and people are transported to Lome, Cotonou, and finally Lagos. But the story looks different today, as the first bus is yet to move due to low patronage resulting from the closure of the main Nigerian border with Benin. Traders, both Nigerians and Ghanaians, waiting here since dawn, are upset.
If you see, many people are suffering. Many people, if you get to border now, see in the night, people are suffering, they cannot cross.
Yourself, you are a driver of the vehicle.
Yeah, I'm a driver.
Were you supposed to have left long ago?
Long ago, I was supposed to at least leave here by 8 o'clock this morning. But we will now stay till around that kind 1, 2 o'clock. So that the time we will go to Nigeria border to get to around 4, 5 o'clock. They normally open the border 6 a.m. in the morning, close 6 p.m. in the evening. So that is why you see delayed buses, delayed passengers. In short, passengers are suffering.
I just hope this gets to the Nigerian government. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to them, to appeal to the federal government and the Minister of Interior and all of them to please look into this matter. To them, they may be sitting in their air-conditioned office and all that. They don't know what is going on. Probably some of them will just take flight and in the next 30 minutes they are here. But you are not thinking of, oh, what about your citizens who are doing business, people who are living in this country?
They say the scrutiny travelers and vehicles at the border are subjected to has brought about a lot of hardship and inconvenience, with many of them forced to spend the night at the border before being given passage.
Since 2 years ago, I've been coming in frequently, so, and I know the sufferings that we are, having in that place. It's not really an easy thing, I must tell you. Most times when you get to the border, you have to sleep. Number one, there's no lights there. Number two, I mean, you can imagine if, for example, an elderly person is traveling, the mosquitoes, everything, you can't even come down because you are not allowed to come down to stretch your legs. You know, so you have to be inside the vehicle till the following morning when it will be opened again by 6 a.m. Then before we can cross. It's not, it's how do I call it? It's really a harsh situation, let me put it that way. It's really harsh, telling on travelers per se. We can't even come in to do business. For those of us who bring in things and all that, we can't even do it any longer.
So it's not good for a passenger to reach border and sleep there. Mosquitoes, where you will sleep, water or food is not easy. So we are begging them so if they can open the border for us, because almost 3 to 4 months now, it's not easy for us.
One of the terminal managers, Tina Ade, says business is almost grinding to a halt.
The closure of the border has affected us too much because look at this, by this time we haven't load. Before we can go first bus, second bus, third bus, but now passengers are not coming because when you reach the border, you have to sleep overnight. Then 6 a.m. before the border will be open for us to cross. So a lot of passengers are not traveling, and markets, women who used to go and buy things, they don't go again.
The Nigerian government has announced the border closure has been extended to the end of January next year. This means the plight of traders and bus owners here could be compounded. Henry Kwesi Bedu's report for Joy News.
Now let's take you to the Bono East region. Now, for the people of Yeji, a community along the Volta Lake, access to potable source of water has over the years been a major challenge. Now, people have to walk several kilometers just to fetch water from the Yeji River. At a recent Meet the Press engagement with the Yeji District Assembly, authorities announced plans to fix the Yeji water treatment plant to prevent waterborne diseases. Correspondent Anasa Beat was in the community and has filed the following report.
Nothing survives without water. Humans in particular needs a steady and clean supply, something which is becoming more and more challenging for the people of Yeji in the Bono East region. Though the Yeji community is one of the several communities along the Volta Lake and can boast of plenty water, the community's major challenge is how safe this water is for drinking and human use. Pimampim Nana Yao Kadbrese is the president of the Bung Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs and the paramount chief of the Yeji Traditional Council. People may not believe it when we tell them we have challenges with water. But for us living here, it would have been better if we never had a river around. We would have known how to manage with the little we have. The rains washes all the filth around into the water we drink. When you drill a borehole here, it tastes salty. No single borehole here is good for drinking. Then we took a ride to the riverbank where we met a section of the people fetching from the untreated water source. To some of them who spoke to Joy News, they have no choice but to drink from the salty, untreated river source. When they defecate, it all ends up in the river after the rains. And this is what we drink. And because of the dirt, we don't even feel like drinking. So we call on the authorities to come to our aid. The water isn't clean. We walk for a long distance to fetch, and as a result, we get to school late. So we beg on authorities to help us fix the situation. We struggle a lot due to the absence of pipes here in Yeji. At a recent Meet the Press engagement with the Pro East District Assembly, District Chief Executive for the area, Mr. Joseph Kweku Abonkra, highlighted steps taken by the Assembly to provide potable water for the people.
Being a district in its kind, then having a big river as we see around, then we don't have potable water to drink. you ask yourself who is to be blamed. And so the Assembly has taken upon itself, since my assumption in office, to make some trips and to be able to see how we'll get at least potable water to drink in the community here. A team of technical experts were brought here. They have since written a report and have brought it. Again, we have made a second trip to Accra to see the CEO in charge. And so his assurance is that they will have to also come to meet the community and to see the way forward.
He is, however, confident that by early next year, the Yeji water crisis will be resolved.
Of course, we are not just relenting on our effort. We are still pushing to see that at least by the close of the year and somewhere maybe early next year, we should have good water to take in our district here.
On sanitation, Mr. Abonkra, after admitting that sanitation is a challenge, indicated that the Assembly is embarking on sensitization campaigns on the negatives of dumping refuse in the bushes, adding that law enforcement agencies would also deal with culprits. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Yeji.
Now, in the Ashanti region, Innovation Hub Kumasi Hive is on a mission to introduce children in orphanages to science, technology, engineering, and of course mathematics. It's a step towards bridging the gap in the study of science between the privileged and the less privileged. The project involves introduction of students to the science set. Nane Aljima was at the all-national orphanage to witness how beneficiaries take their first lessons with a set supplied by the group.
Class 6 pupil Christabel Boadu, after getting a 30-minute tutorial on the science set, tries her hands on it. Her task is to put together a simple circuit, probably the boldest step she has ever taken in the study of science. Christabel is one of many girls, especially with science phobia syndrome.
Please, I don't like science because science is difficult. Because the light, I can't do it. And other things to do with science, I can't do it. Today I've seen the wires and batteries, so I want to do some of the lights.
Emmanuel Nkrumah Sapon, programmer at Dext Technology, takes the children through the science set lesson.
This is practical science education, and then we are learning basic circuits. This is the basics of all of the electronics that we see around. So even the camera that is looking at me, these are the basic things that make the camera work, and that's what the children are learning, and then they are playing with their hands. So when they learn these things, it gives them the confidence to do more in science. It also brings them understanding and gives them ideas on what to do whenever they meet a problem. So you're teaching them basic problem solving using practical science.
Kumasi Hive is supported by partners MEC Kiga to provide other educational materials to the orphanage. One of the initiatives is an aeroponics farm to help ensure sustainable production of vegetables. Michael Strendinger is team leader.
So we built a playground here because the kids had nothing before we arrived here. Then we bringing new soccer goals with some nets. In the things in the past they had only some poles of wood, yes, and they are very crushed. And then we bringing a greenhouse here or a hydroponic because they have the opportunity to get their own vegetables and they must buy it at the market, and they have their food cheaper.
Well, that's quite innovative there, and I hope that we all could also teach our kids some of the great things about science, technology and mathematics. But that's it, a wrap-up of the latest news we have, but we have more news. We have more news occupying the front, the center spreads and the back pages of the various daily newspapers we have right here. Stay with us. Myself, Kuje Yankson and Mavi are here to bring you the news review.